to harden the operating system, we do not stop at the level of controlling the tools we use to communicate with the external world, like the browser, or like the updates, the channels that would help us to make updates, instant messaging, emails, email solutions, actually, whatever. Not only that, but also we may talk about dedicated security appliances. We talk about antiviruses, security appliances in all aspects. Local dedicated a machine antivirus, or a network security appliance, or let's say a sort of a filter that works on controlling the in-out flow and so on. So we can, yeah, absolutely, because we need dedicated communications to be controlled. If we are not having a self-control tool, what does it mean, self-control tool? When we talk about the JavaScript, or when we talked about the cookies, or whatever, we were talking about the control over the browser. We were able to allow or completely deny cookies from the internet options from the browser itself. When we talked about the JavaScript, the same way we were able to have a control from the web browser itself. Okay, so we did not talk about an anti-JavaScript software. We did not talk like that. We did not talk about an anti-cookie tool. We did not talk about that. Why? Because the control is available. We are able to control. We are able to see and block and allow and deny and things like that. All of those tools from within the software we use to exchange or to interchange data with those technologies. But for the example, when we talk about sharing resources, I'm going to share a file with you now. Now I'm showing you a slide, yes, but I'm going to send it to you. So I'm going to use any FTP solution. So this FTP solution, it is actually simple to send a file immediately. It's a command to share a resource, full stop. How to control? We need a filter, for example, to see what we are sending, who is the receiver, the file, and some other constraints we are able to control. So we need a sort of a filter to do so. So this way we need a dedicated security appliances. Appliances means additionals that we install on the computer, on top of the computer itself, in order to enhance the security experience. So let's define those available security appliances. Those are actually to be dedicated, to be actually designed as a third-party solutions. Third-party means they are not from within the system software. They are not from within the operating system. We are going to use to harden the operating system, yes, but they are not from inside the operating system. Means we need to add them. Antivirus extension, shortcut is AV, antivirus, or anti or anti, both pronunciation is up to you. Antivirus is a sort of software actually that scans a local computer, storage device, storage space to search for if there is an available viruses. Because actually we are talking about a virus to be detected. And there will be actually an action for a remedial. Here, advice, there is a sort of a way how to control and how to detect and how to block, let's say delete, or let's say do any remedial action versus a virus. Antivirus, what does it mean? It means there is a definition how we are going to go behind detecting a virus. There is a list of pre-recognized viruses, or if there is, for example, not all the viruses they are recognized, because an attacker might generate a self-coded virus which is not recognized by the antivirus. So the antivirus, how he will detect him? There is another strategy. What is it? It's signature based. What does it mean, signature? It means how he is behaving and how it looks like inside the computer. The program, when he acts inside the computer on top of the processor, either he has a structure or he is behaving somehow. The antivirus will control that. It is set signature based. So based on the signature of the software. The antivirus will detect viruses. So at the end of the day, it's a scan tool. The antivirus is a scan tool to scan for malicious code inside the computer to detect them, and usually he will update himself with the new detected, let's say, lists, and it needs to be updated by the user, actually, from within the public network or from within the dedicated source in order to work well. No more noise. Work well means to detect the up-to-date viruses, the newly invented viruses. Pop-up blocker, we define the pop-up actually when we define the key loggers and the adware. Chapter number 2, when we define the spyware and the key loggers, which are under a category of one of the malware categories, the adware, we define the advertisements, which are actually to be popped up to the user without any consent. Those were a kind of a spyware. So the pop-up windows, or the popped-up windows, they are windows to open automatically whenever you are browsing the internet or a public network using a web browser. So those things, they might be actually for your good, to bring you something that facilitates your experience on the internet, but generally they are things that might cause, if they actually open, that might cause actually an open gate to the external world from where a virus can access your computer or your environment. So they have to be controlled, absolutely. They have to be controlled. Pop-up windows, they can be blocked using dedicated tools, which are named pop-up blocker. We can do that from the browser, yes, absolutely. But in addition to that, we can block the pop-up windows using a pop-up blocker, no more, no less. And pop-up windows, if they open to you, they are only to play the work of a spy. They are to spy only on you, to what is the operating system you are using, what are you watching or opening in the network, what are you visiting, what are the tools you use, and so on. They are spying on you. So to block them from spying on you, you use an anti-spyware. Something like that. So the pop-up blocker, it's a kind of a spyware, anti-spyware. Pop-up window is a kind of a spyware. Pop-up blocker, it's an anti-spyware. Yes, we can block actually the windows from the settings of the browser, not only to use a third-party application, but we can use the Internet Explorer or Internet options from all the browsers, not only Internet Explorer, from all the browsers. We can use the options to configure the pop-up windows, whether to allow or not. The spams, they are a list of undesirable mails. We defined them actually when we talked about the open relay. Remember, an email, it is a message to be sent and received. Simple mail transfer protocol, it's the responsible protocol for sending mails. And the POP3, Post Office Protocol, version 3, and the earlier versions also, they are all for receiving emails. So sending and receiving a message, let's say an electronic message, it is the work of an email, let's say, solution. But if the email is undesirable, is classified to be non-desirable, or let's say it's annoying, it is to be classified as a spam. How it is undesirable and why it is undesirable, and when we decide that it is, how and why, and when we decide that it is undesirable, it's not wanted. Actually, if it is coming from an illegitimate source, or if it is containing so many links which are malicious, or if it is classified by you manually, you, the email box owner, classified, if this sender, if he sends you something, you classify it as a spam. So in all cases, a spam is an unwanted email. It's a mail, but it is not wanted. That's it. Well, unwanted, undesirable. Why? Because of so many reasons. The easiest reason and the most trivial reason is that you don't want to receive emails from a certain party. For example, I don't want to receive any email from the company ABC. So the company ABC, if it sends me any email, all of its emails, they are classified as spam in my inbox. No more, there is no secret here to define. Remember the protocols we defined, the SMTP and the POP3. Whenever we send, see the direction of the arrow here, we are using the protocol SMTP. If we are receiving the sender here, the receiver is here. Also he has an inbox. He has actually a mail engine here, a mail, let's say, a mail tool, whatever. To receive the POP3, actually the POP protocol will be put in action. This one to send, SMTP. This one to receive, POP protocol. No more or less. In between, there are the open relays, servers, which are going to be utilized because this machine might be here in Oman, and this one might be in Dubai. So how to send from Oman to Dubai? There have to be servers and paths to send from a hop to another. Hop 1, hop 2, hop 3, hop N, and then after to receive. Over the internet, whatever the distance is. Okay, here for the spam, for the context of the spam, okay, the spam is an email to be sent at the end of the day. When to classify it's a spam? Here, using the SMTP? No, see here, it will be classified here at the receiving point. The mail worker for the receiver, the mail, let's say, engine for the receiver will classify the received mail as a spam or not, based on the criterions. Based on the criteria that the receiver is settled. So here at this level, before immediately shown in the inbox, it will be classified as a normal email or as a spam. Yeah, example of tools that we might use is not only the browser, because of the anti-spam here, we may use a tool to be an anti-spam. It's not only to be set from within the mailbox, but we can use a dedicated tool, DMX, Mail Exchange. We saw that actually in the lab, the first lab, when we tried to use the NS lookup and the mail exchange with the Fava Bay, if you remember very well. So an anti-spam, it might be a tool from within the mail engine, or a dedicated third-party software, third-party solution to do the work of classifying emails. Either they are normal emails to come and appear in the inbox, or suspicious emails and wanted emails to be classified as spams. Reasons, as we said, reasons actually they are usually manual, not manual, but these are based on the, remember, because emails, they might be spam for me, but for you they are normal emails. So we cannot classify, we cannot standardize emails if they are, for example, classified to be spam for one inbox, so they are spam for everybody. No, we cannot standardize, because as per the example I said, I don't want to receive any email from the company ABC. So the ABC emails, they are spams for me only. The ABC is a company, it's working, it is delivering services. So for you, it might be actually interesting. So its emails, they are not spam for you, but they are spam for me. So we cannot standardize the reasons. Yet to control those spams, you have actually levels. You have levels. So from the beginning, actually, you can block actually everything. It means from the server, you can block everything actually, or you may receive them and you classify them in your mail engine, your computer tool, like the mail exchange here, because this is a software to be installed in your computer. And in here, you configure whether to either block or allow the emails, to classify them as spams or emails, or spams or mails. Or you may classify them actually as an waiting list, sort of waiting list, junk. If you visit them, then after you decide, you let them come to your dedicated junk box, and there you see them, and they will be actually deleted. After you visit them, you delete automatically will be deleted after a certain period. For example, 1 week. They will remain in your junk box for 1 week. After that, the mail engine in your mail engine will delete them, or let's say will hide them. So you have different levels to control the spams. Either from the top level, means from the server, top 3 level here at this level, or at the computer itself, at the engine where your software, where your installed software is, or still at where your software is installed, and with specific settings. You let them be there for a certain period in a certain box, not the inbox and not the spam box. It's the junk box. Means you're going to receive them. They are segregated to visit them if you want, but for a certain period, for 1 week or for 1 month, you can configure that. Okay, firewall, the filters actually in general, not only the firewall, because we are going to define the intrusion detection tools also. They are, all of them, they are sort of filters. They control the in and out flows. They actually filter for the reason trying to detect malware, malicious resources. Mainly when we talk about a firewall or any other network level security filter, they're going to work on packets, because on the net we do not find a software running or an image running or something like that. We find only packets on the network level. And those packets, if they are malicious, firewalls will detect. Firewalls, they can be actually two, either software or hardware. It means we can install a software, or we can integrate a full dedicated server, for example, to play the role of a hardware or of a firewall. Firewalls, actually, they are dedicated for networks generally, but we can install them for a personal use. Means in University of Nisbo, for example, here we are inside the campus, we are having our firewall, absolutely, for different levels. For your home use, for example, you can install a firewall to filter the work inside your home network, or in between whenever you are trying to share or something like that, use something from the external environment to your computer. So you can use firewalls for your personal use, for your personal affairs, all usually for security reasons only. Usually for security reasons. You are not going to install a firewall to do nothing. No, you have to have a reason to protect yourself from. Mainly they are to be installed, but we can find in the Windows, for example, we are having the Windows Defender or something like that, or the Windows Firewall. They are filters, but we can install them as a third-party software also. And the filters also, we can find the intrusion detection tools. Intrusion detection. See, I used only those two words. Intrusion detection. They are sort of filters to detect intrusion trials. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Now you are watching me. I know that you are using mobiles, or some of you, they are using computers. But if I try to intrude and access your device without telling you that I'm accessing your computer, I'm intruding. So the intrusion is a malicious behavior. There are software that they do detect those intrusions. They are called intrusion detection systems. Those intrusion detection systems, if they are installed in a computer to control a computer only, or a device only, one device, so they are host intrusion detection systems. So many examples they are there, but they are usually to control. Actually, whenever we talk about intrusions, do not expect that I'm gonna send you a message, hey Fulan, I'm accessing your computer. Do not expect something like that. It would never, because it will absolutely be obscure and at the very top level of obfuscation. In this sense, very hidden. What does it mean? It means they are going to be actually those intrusions. They are going to be very technical at the level, not only operating system level, but we can find them actually some trials to be at the kernel level. means the layer between the hardware and the software. Means they are too hidden to be detected by normal firewall. Here, this is actually to bring your attention that they are very, very crucial. Those trials of intrusions. How to detect? Based on some analysis to do. They have to do analysis only, analysis, because they are going to analyze what packets communicated over a network to what are they actually to send or to receive. But usually they are in the computer itself, on the device itself, because they are host intrusion detection systems. More than that, because we are going to see next chapter, inshallah, the network intrusion detection systems. Network intrusion detection systems also. But here, since we are talking about the system hardening or the environment as a system hardening, so we are concerned with the host intrusion detection systems. We are not defining the filters. We are defining the tools that we can use to harden the operating system. Remember, we are defining an intrusion detection tool. Yes, this is a filter, but to be installed on a device on top of an operating system, on top of a system software, not on a network level. This is a very important note. Okay, any questions? Otherwise, I'll pass to chapter number 4. Any questions, please?
No, Mister.
No, Mister.
Aloof. Okay, Aloof, any questions, Aloof?
No, Mister.
Muhammad Ali, any questions, Muhammad Ali?
نو مستر نو مستر
موسى. Yes, tell Muhammad Ali.
خلاص نزلت الكلاس روم وارسلت الجواب اللي مع السؤال اليوم.
The classroom ما يتنزل. classroom actually you have to log in and I have to find you. Yes, you are in. قلت لك محمد علي ما تدخل تو. أنا جالس أشرح ترى.
دخلت
Yes.
جواب تطلع يعني ما
وقت
بتأخر.
المحاضرة أمورك
ما
طيبة خلاص.
تأخرت.
You are ظهرت عندي نعم خلاص. بدأت تلقيس بس. Okay, let's continue with chapter number 4. Okay, chapter number 3 we're talking about hardening the operating system. Talking about the operating system, the system software, issues and solutions somehow. And this unit, chapter number 4, sorry, we're going to talk about the network. Same context, issues and solutions. Network level now. Network level means we are going to see the node with its external environment, the channels that can actually be utilized to communicate data or resources from a host to the external environment. This is what we are concerned with when we talk about the network vulnerabilities and attacks. Network vulnerabilities, we are not going to see the network as per the network itself. No, we are going to see the hosts versus the networks, because if we are going to talk the network only, so we are talking about protocols and wires and wireless technologies. This is not the concern. We are not defining the technology here. We are to define the framework which we use to communicate data over the network. The solution, how to share data. So we need hosts and interfaces to the external environment, which is the network. Threats and their securities and their countermeasures. This is the concern of this chapter number 4. Who can repeat what I just defined about this chapter number 4? Who can repeat that? Who can redefine me? I will give marks. Who can define what I just defined concerning this chapter number 4? I will give marks, and I will be very generous in giving marks. 5 درجات maybe. Can you? Iman, can you?
Again, Mister.
What definition I given regarding this network vulnerabilities and attacks? What definition I just given you now? What short briefing I given you now regarding this unit? Mazoon, can you repeat the definition? Are you with me? Okay.
Mister. Here.
Okay, let's continue. Okay, good. When we talk, actually, still we are talking about issues only and the countermeasures, but we are talking about network issues and the countermeasures. We are going to see the vulnerabilities that we can talk about, we can define, we can present, we can face, all of us can face whenever we are using the network resources. Network, as per an example, the internet, the very famous internet, or even a local network in your home or here in work environment, or whatever. Any type of a network, what are the vulnerabilities, the issues? We are going to classify them. We're going to classify them into groups. And we see some techniques, how they are actually fulfilled. And by recognizing the techniques here, the methodologies used to achieve those attacks, at that time we know the security measures or the countermeasures. So whenever you know how the technique is, a weakness or flaw in software. Which, when compromised by the threat, can result in a security breach. What is this, Iman?
Network vulnerability.
Yes, absolutely true.
Definition.
Absolutely true. Absolutely true. No, absolutely true. But the definition you're given here, it is still valid for an operating system issue. It is still true for a digital one standalone device issue. So it is valid for all. It is valid. It is true. It is not what I asked exactly, but you define the vulnerability. Regardless, I'll talk now about the marks I've given you. So I was saying that the last point actually we are going to get as a summary from this unit is that whenever you talk about the methodology, we can define the methodologies used to do an attack or a network attack. At that time, we recognize how to secure ourselves. Since you know how to attack, you can protect yourself. You know the issue and how to be achieved, how to be applied, so you can protect yourself and your framework, your environment. I'll stop the recording. If you hear your name, just say yes, please.